Hello, my brilliant students. Welcome. Today, we are diving deep into a topic that is an absolute favorite for examiners in WAEC, JAMB, and NECO, and that is soil fertility. Trust me, understanding this is fundamental to acing your agri-science paper. In this lesson, we're going to cover everything you need from the syllabus to get those top marks. So, let's get right into it. First things first, the definition. Examiners love, and I mean love, to ask for this directly. So, what is soil fertility? It's the ability of the soil to supply essential plant nutrients in adequate amounts and proper proportions for optimum plant growth and high yields. I want you to pause right now and burn this exact definition into your memory. It is the key to unlocking the first few marks on any question about this topic. Now, just look at the difference this makes in the real world. On one side, you have fertile soil giving us beautiful, healthy maize and cassava plants, leading to a massive harvest. But on the other side, poor soil, which gives you stunted plants and very low yields. This is the difference between a successful farming season and a disaster for farmers all over Nigeria. The big question is, what makes the soil on the left so much better? Let's find out. Okay, so to understand fertility, you have to understand what plants eat. Just like us, they need a balanced diet of different nutrients to grow strong. This is the core science behind everything we're going to talk about, and if you can master this section, you are on your way to scoring very, very high marks. So, let's break down these building blocks of plant life. Okay, so plant nutrients are basically split into two groups, and it's all about how much the plant needs. On your left, we have the macronutrients. Plants need these in large amounts. Think of these as the jollof rice and chicken of the plant world. They need a lot of it. Good examples are nitrogen and potassium. Then, on the right, you have the micronutrients. These are needed in tiny, tiny amounts, kind of like the salt and spices in the food. An example is iron. It's simple, right? Don't mix them up because examiners love to test this classification. Now, let's zoom in on the big three macronutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, or NPK. This table right here is pure gold for your exams. You see, nitrogen is for that lovely green leafy growth. If it's missing, the leaves turn yellow. That's called chlorosis. Phosphorus is all about energy and strong roots. Without it, the leaves can look purplish. And potassium, that's the bodyguard, helping the plant fight diseases. Without it, the edges of the leaves get burnt. I'm telling you, memorize this table. I can almost guarantee you will see a question on it. So you might be wondering, if plants are constantly sucking up these nutrients, how does the soil not just run out? Great question. The answer is nutrient cycles. These are amazing natural recycling systems. Think of them as the engine that keeps the soil fertile, constantly moving nutrients from the air and soil into the plant and then back again. It's a beautiful system. This diagram of the nitrogen cycle is a perfect example. You can see how nitrogen moves from the air, gets into the soil, is taken up by the plant, and eventually goes back into the atmosphere to start the whole process all over again. And you'll see some key players here, like rhizobium bacteria that live on the roots of legumes like beans and cowpeas. They are super important. Now, that whole cycle can look complicated, but let's break it down into 4 key stages. Ready? Number 1, nitrogen fixation. That's grabbing nitrogen from the air and locking it in the soil. 2, ammonification. When dead things decay, they release ammonia. 3, nitrification. This is where bacteria turn that ammonia into nitrates, which is what plants can actually use. And finally, number 4, denitrification, where other bacteria send the nitrogen back to the atmosphere. Know these 4 steps and know them in order. So, who are the little workers doing all this heavy lifting in the soil? It's the living things. See, the soil isn't just dirt, it's a bustling city full of life. You've got flora like bacteria and fungi, which are the master decomposers, breaking down dead leaves into rich organic matter. And then you have the fauna, like our good friend the earthworm, tunneling around, making the soil nice and airy. These guys are your secret weapons for building a fertile soil. Okay, so we've got the science down. We understand what makes soil fertile, but as farmers, we can't just sit back and hope for the best, right? So how do we actively maintain and improve soil fertility? This next section is all about the practical stuff, the methods and management techniques. This is a huge part of your syllabus, focusing on what we can actually do to help the soil. One of the main ways to add nutrients is with manures and fertilizers. This comparison table is a classic. On one hand, you have organic manures. Think of cow dung or compost. They're natural. They improve the soil structure, but they work slowly. On the other hand, you have inorganic fertilizers like your NPK 15-15-15. These are super fast-acting and give specific nutrients, but they can pollute water and they don't help the soil structure in the long run. You must be able to compare and contrast these two for your exams. But it's not just about adding manure. There are other brilliant farming practices. Take crop rotation. Planting maize after cowpea is a fantastic idea because the cowpea, a legume, naturally adds nitrogen to the soil for the maize to use later. Then there's liming, which is absolutely essential for fixing those acidic soils common in places like southeastern Nigeria. And practices like cover cropping and mulching are great for protecting the soil. Mentioning these Nigerian examples will really make your answer stand out to your examiner. So, how do you know when the soil is hungry and lacking something? Well, the plant will actually tell you. Just look at this maize plant here. You see that yellowing on the lower leaves? That's a classic sign of nitrogen deficiency, and the correct term is chlorosis. Being able to spot these visual clues is a key skill, and it's a great way to apply your knowledge in a practical question. Alright, you've learned the principles, you've seen the processes, you know the practices. It is time to put all this amazing knowledge to the test. Let's shift gears and move into the exam practice section. We're going to see how we can use everything we've just learned to smash real past questions from WAEC, JAMB, and NECO. I know you can do this. Here we go. A classic question straight from WAEC 2012. It's asking for two functions and two deficiency symptoms for nitrogen and potassium. Now, does this look familiar? It should. It's pulled directly from that big three table we looked at. So pause for a moment, try and answer it yourself before I show you the solution. Go on. Okay, you ready? Now, look at this model answer. For nitrogen, functions are promoting vegetative growth and forming chlorophyll. Symptoms, chlorosis and stunted growth. For potassium, functions include activating enzymes and resisting diseases. Symptoms, the leaf edges get scorched and the stems are weak. The key takeaway here is to be specific. Don't just write yellowing leaves. Say chlorosis of older leaves, especially of older leaves. Using the correct technical terms is what gets you the maximum marks. Let's try a JAMB objective question. It says nutrient replenishment in soil can be enhanced by, and then gives 4 options. Now, this question is testing if you understand which farming practices add nutrients and which ones take them away. Take a second to think it through. You know, the best way to tackle these objective questions is by elimination. Let's look at the options. Crop removal, that's literally taking nutrients away, so A is wrong. Leaching and erosion, those also remove nutrients, so B and C are wrong. That leaves us with crop rotation. And as we discussed, when you rotate with a legume like cowpea, you are adding nitrogen to the soil for the maize to use later. So the correct answer is clearly D. See how it all connects? Okay, last one, a NECO question. Now, what's the very first thing you should notice here? The instruction in a tabular form. This is so important. Examiners give marks for following instructions. If they ask for a table, you must draw a table. This question wants 3 functions and 3 deficiency symptoms for nitrogen, phosphorus, and even sulfur. And here is what a perfect answer looks like, laid out exactly as NECO asked. A nice, neat table with clear columns for the nutrient, its functions, and its deficiency symptoms. You can see everything for N, P, and S listed out clearly. Presenting your answer like this is clean, it's easy for the examiner to mark, and it shows you can follow instructions, all of which helps you get that A1. Wow, we have covered so much ground today. We defined soil fertility, we explored all the important nutrients and their cycles, we looked at how to manage the soil, and we even solved past questions. Now let's wrap it all up with a quick summary and some powerful tips to help you crush it in your exams. Here it is, your very own soil fertility cheat sheet. It's got the key definitions you must know, a quick reminder of the main macronutrients and what they do, and the basic difference between organic and inorganic manures. I want you to screenshot this, write it down in your notebook, and use it for your last-minute revision. It's a powerful summary of all the most important stuff.
And finally, here is your A1 exam checklist for this topic. Number 1, always label your diagrams clearly, especially the nitrogen cycle. 2, use the correct agricultural terms. Say chlorosis, not just yellowing. 3, use relevant Nigerian examples.
Talk about maize, cassava, liming in the southeast. It shows you know your stuff. And 4, for JAMB, always eliminate the wrong answers first. If you follow these tips, you are well on your way to success. You've absolutely got this. Soil fertility is a high-scoring topic, and you now have all the knowledge you need to master it. If you found this lesson helpful, please do me a small favor. Like this video, share it with your classmates, and of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next topic. And for extra practice, head over to www.examkp.com for thousands of free questions. Let's smash these exams together.